everyone. Welcome back to SAT Math Question of the Day with Professor Emeritus Seth Chaiken and Seth's brother Joel. We're here to hopefully show you how to approach SAT math questions. But today is also a second type of video. So if you're here not for that, but if you're here if you clicked on this thing for the adaptive SAT digital change thing, then welcome. Okay. I don't know how many people realize this, but the SAT is changing their method of testing in the United States starting in 2024. What they're doing is the test is going to be administered generally for most people digitally through a computer, and there's all sorts of things, your computer, the school's computer, all this stuff. Anyway, I don't know how many people realize this, but if you are a sophomore now in school and high school in the United States, it's likely that in 2024 you are going to be taking a digital SAT. So there's a big difference. They're changing a major part of this test. Now, if you want to learn about this thing, go to this website, SAT-SuiteCollegeBoard.org, detailed.s, and you'll see all sorts of stuff about this thing. There's a 192-page PDF that's mostly for educators that you can read about this thing. What is the biggest change? Well, first of all, let's get a confirmation because we don't want to say untruths here. So the best we can see is there's this website here. I don't know, all these different websites. This one is from a tutoring agency, I guess. Here it is. When will these changes happen? The PSAT will go in the fall of 2023, which I guess if you're going to be a junior, then you're going to be taking a digital PSAT. And the SAT will go in, the SATs will start in the spring of 2024. So now what is the big change? The big change is that the test is going to be adaptive. First of all, they're going down, and this is all because I'm reading this thing. They're going down to about a 2-hour test. And I guess you could read all the research and stuff, which showed that it's in 2 hours, you can figure out how good or what someone's competence level is by giving adaptive questions, which means that you start out taking these questions, and then based on how good or bad you are, they're going to give you other questions related to your level. And this way they can really zone in very quickly in only a 2-hour test as to what your level is. So that's what they say, and there's all sorts of stuff. You can read this PDF. It's 192 pages. It's the advantages and disadvantages of tests like these. But the big change is that it's adaptive. So in terms of helping people get ready for a test, how do you do that? We have no idea. We could talk about that a little bit later. So what's the plan today? We'll talk about this a little bit. They gave us 16 practice questions, which we will do over 16 days. And then also a little bit later today, after we do the SAT math question of the day, maybe Seth and I will talk a little bit about what they think about adaptive testing. Seth is a retired university professor at University of Albany, and we can give him his insight as to whether if he was able to give an adaptive test, whether he think that would be a better, faster way to assess people. So you can certainly read about this, the multi-stage adaptive testing here. Linear. Okay, this is the linear tests, right? You can sort of read this as I'm reading it. The linear test form is a sense of one size fits all. Here they're justifying why they give an adaptive testing. So a linear test is just a regular test, okay? In the adaptive testing model, the test delivery system adjusts the difficulty of the questions, okay? These adjustments help ensure that a given student is being administered questions of difficulty appropriate to their level of achievement. Okay, got it. Okay, so you can read all this justification why they're doing this. Yeah, adaptive testing for the digital SAT is a win for the students. This is what they're saying. You can decide whether it's a win for you or not. Okay, you see all this stuff they're justifying. Now they even have, they must have done millions of dollars of research, and they realize that there are different ways to do adaptive testing. They're doing this thing. They're having this idea of a module where the first module is just this test. I guess these are the questions everybody gets, okay? Typically consists of questions across the board. By the way, there's another advantage to this. They're interested in security. They don't want people cheating. They think that this is if they give a test like this, it's going to be harder for people to cheat because, everyone gets a different question. That's another thing they're into.
Okay, so the adaptiveness is implemented by a fixed test, the same questions given to everybody first.
Right.
And then the score on the first group of questions determines how hard a selection of questions will be given for the second part of the test. And so I guess it's not going to, in the middle of the second part, the questions will not, how the questions are chosen won't be changed based on the students' performance in earlier questions of the second part.
No, I think they keep going. I think
No, it says. Let's read it.
Okay.
Students are for Module 2. Students are given a targeted mix of questions of varying difficulty based on their performance in Module 1.
Okay. Right.
So that pretty clearly indicates that the pick of question, the questions selected for Module 2 depend only on the performance in Module 1.
Oh, right. Based on this information, the
that's what it says.
Platform, here, let's read, selects one of two potential second stage modules to deliver. One module consists of a targeted mix of questions that are on average of higher difficulty in the first module. The other consists of targeted that are on average lower difficulty in the first module. Now, this is the critical thing. Once students have answered the question in the second module, testing on that section is complete. A section score can be calculated based on student performance across all sections given in the section. Oh, you're right. Oh, so it's just 2 levels.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not like crazy. It's not like crazy adaptive. Let's see.
Yeah.
Testing. Okay, now they talk about why this is beneficial, right?
Yeah.
And we'll ask Seth later about that. Okay. I thought they kept going.
Wow.
No, I see. So it's, according to this, it's just 2 levels. The regular level and then the second level. Oh, that's not too... Okay. Fine. Okay, anyway, people can read all this themselves. You can go crazy with this if you want to. These PDFs are generally made for educators, but, there's no reason why you can't read them yourself. You just go to this website. Or you just Google and all sorts of stuff about digital SAT 2024, and I'm sure other people have done all sorts of stuff, particularly tutoring agencies and stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay? So they're nice enough to give us 16 practice questions related to math. Oh, they also tell you in this PDF what you need to know in the math side.
Oh.
I don't think we need to do that. They tell us what you need to know in math. They even give you a list of all the topics you need to know. I don't know if we really need to do that. I don't know. What do you think?
Not today.
Not today. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, so let's do a question of the day. Let's pick it from one of the 16. Now, we're not going over the 8 practice tests that SAT gives out because we don't want to do questions that hopefully people are talking to you, that you are actually doing on your test. If we do these questions for us, and you're taking the practice test, then that doesn't really give you an honest score of the practice test, right? You need to do those questions yourself. So we try to find questions that you would do, maybe, but not like seriously do, right? These are the questions that you would do. But, okay, here's math question 1. Oh, don't look at the answer, everyone. Don't look at the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. Okay, math, this is it. New era of us. We've been doing this since August 2022. And a new era for us where we're going to start doing other things like this. And then we're going to move to con probably. Okay, math question 1. If f of x is that, and g of x is that, what is the value of 4 f of 2 minus g of 2? So this could have been asked on a test post 2016. I mean, it is a question post 2016. Seems pretty straightforward. You just have to know some function notation. So, do you want to give it a shot? I've been talking.
Yeah, I think this calls for care in using your pencil.
Okay.
Well, of course, you need to know what it all means. What it means that the value of, say, f of 2 when you're given a definition of a function in this form, what does the value of f of 2 mean? Should I talk about that?
I guess so.
Okay, that means you take the definition the expression that defines what f of x is, and then you substitute the 2 for the x to get 2 plus 7, and then you simplify it to get 9, and it is, so the value of f of 2 is 9. Okay, so I would be very, very careful about using my pencil because there's so many symbols around. So one way to start is to start with what they want the value of. So very carefully write 4f of 2 minus g of 2. And then here's something I like to do. I don't know if I'll just do it. So we need to replace f of 2 with what this formula tells you what f of 2 is. So what this formula tells you is that you replace f by whatever x where x is, you do is you write the defined expression for f, except you replace the x by a 2. So that is 2 plus 7. And I would put parentheses around it. I would bring the 4 down. And then I'd write the minus. And then whatever g of 2 is, I'll put that in there. Well, g of x is 7 times x. So g of 2 is 7 times 2. Okay? And then very carefully simplify this. Simplifying 2 plus 7 is 9. So I get 4 times 9 minus 7 times 2. And the 4 times 9 minus, what's 7 times 2? That's 14. And 4 times 9 is 36.
Yeah, but don't we
simplifies furthermore to 36 minus 14. And now I could do the subtraction. See, 6 minus 4 equals 2. And 3 minus 1 equals 2. So you get an answer of 22, which is one of the answers.
Yeah, right, yeah. By the way, I blurted something out while you were talking. It was completely wrong, so I really caught my mistake when I said it. I'm not even going to say what I said. Yeah, wow. So, but you certainly have to know what, truthfully, this is a question in function notation. You have to know what, something I remember we talked about the different draws and stuff you need to know. You certainly need to know, I'm sorry, Zyport's going nutso. He doesn't like the new test. Oh yeah, the answer is C. Look at that. So you need to know something about function notation. You need to know what this means when this means.
Well, another approach to using your pencil, is to do the calculation. You observe that the answer depends only on f applied to 2 and g applied to 2.
Yeah.
So you could do the pencil work up here. You could write it here. F of 2 equals 2 plus 7 equals 9.
Right.
And then on top of this, you could write g of 2 equals 7 times 2 equals 14.
Right.
And then you put the 9 here for f of 2 and the 14 here for g of 2. And you get 4 times 9 minus 14. And if this is a calculator, you could do a calculator. So you could use a calculator. If not, you just do it. You just use arithmetic facts.
Right. All right. And, one thing about the digital SAT, it is 100% calculator. And not only is it 100% calculator, but when you take the SAT on the computer, a calculator will be given to you on the SAT. Like there'll be an SAT calculator thing. But they say
Yeah.
according to that, you can also bring your own TI-84, but they will give you a calculator, which is nice. I don't know if it's nice. But Seth, come on. The way most people are going to do this is they're not going to go through all that formality, because that's from an educational point of view. That's what we're doing. But from a point of view of how people are really going to do it, that assuming that you know how to do this problem, you would see, oops, wow, this is Zeichbert's really going nuts out today. And you do 4 times 8, you would say, well, first of all, you're very lucky because see, both are 2. See, you're evaluating the x and both functions are evaluated at 2. They could have made it so one of them could be evaluated 3, one of them evaluated 2, and then you got to be more careful. But here, they're both at 2. So you would write 4. Oh, God, the thing froze. So you would write 4, and then you would do f of 2 sort of in your head. Probably you would have done it in your head. So you would have written 4. Now, of course, I can't do anything because this stupid computer froze. You would write, you would write 4, and then you would do 2 plus 7 is 9. And then you would do minus, oh God, you got to make sure 9 is 9. And then g of 2, 2 is 14. And then you would get 36 minus 14. Maybe use a calculator, you get 22. Come on, most people are going to do it this way. Very few people are going to write it the way you did. Very few. But this is the dyslexic's nightmare, isn't it? I mean, the way I wrote it, it's not a dyslexic's nightmare. But the way you wrote it, if you suffer from any sort of mathematical messing up of seeing symbols, this is a disaster. This is a potential disaster.
Well, I don't know.
There's too many 2s and 7s floating around.
Yeah.
Goodness.
But I don't know. I don't know what accommodations are effective for dyslexic people to learn to use. But I don't know. I'm not. I can't.
Yeah, right. We don't.
I've never been diagnosed as being dyslexic.
Yeah.
But I can imagine, if you have trouble perceiving the order in which symbols are written.
But if you did it this way, you don't have it as much. If you did it the way I did it, you don't have the 2s and the 7s floating. They're more floating in your head. But you have to keep track in your head what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. There it is. Yeah.
The other thing is that the way I view it is this also uses a part of algebra. This part just uses the major concept in algebra of substitution. You just substitute things in. And the other thing is with functions, I always view it as like, just do what you're told and don't think too much. Just do exactly what the thing tells you to do, and just follow the directions, really. Just follow. When you see function notation, surrender your thoughts and just follow what they tell you to do and don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, they give these questions come with an explanation written by the College Board.
Yeah, so should we see what they say?
I don't know. Does our audience see the explanation?
No, but why don't we?
Yeah, so shift it up. So show them what.
Let's discuss what they say. Okay, the skill, linear function, and by the way, further down in this PDF, they tell you all the skills you need to know. So we have to pay attention to that. Seth and I have to read that and make sure that we go over all the skills. Oh, look at this! They even tell you the distractors. So how about this? Let's see if what they say makes sense. C is correct. The value of f of 2 can be found by substituting 2 of x in the given equation, which yields that. Or 9. The value of g of 2 can be found by substituting. There's the word substituting, see? X, thing, right? Which yields 14. The value of expression can be found by substituting. Oh my God, there's so much substituting going on. It's crazy. The corresponding values, which gives that. And then this is equivalent to this. What do you think? What do you think of their explanation?
Good. It's a good one. Yeah. It avoids having too many 2s around.
Right.
That you get rid of the 2. It directs you to get rid of the 2s as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So first by adding 2 and 7 to get 9, then you can get rid of the 2 involving f. And then the 2 times 14, or 2 times 7 to get 14, that gets rid of the 2 involving g. And then you're left with 4 times 9 and 14 to subtract.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're done with this. Function notation, you have to know the symbol of f of x, what that means. And it means evaluate the function at the given input. You know, functions are input output things. The functions are given the input, you calculate the output. F of x, the notation means x is the input, f of x is the output. Also known most of the time as y, traditionally known as y. Y is equal to f of x, and that's weak for f of 2. The answer is the output of the function would be 9. 2 plus 9. So, Seth, I'm not sure what you have any opinions on. Well, first of all, we'll say goodbye to everyone unless you want to hang around. By the way, the SAT, if you're here for the digital thing, this is what we do every day. We do an SAT math question of the day. But if you're here for that reason, if you found us for that reason, then we are going to talk a little bit about adaptive testing. If you're here for SAT math question today and you don't want to hear about us talk a little bit about adaptive testing, of which we know nothing of anyway, then what am I saying? Well, anyway, stick around if you want to hear us talk about it. If not, we'll see you when we start up again. We'll do math question 2 the next time we meet. And like us, dislike us, give us suggestions how we can help you approach SAT math questions better at satmathquestions@gmail.com. Seth, let's talk about something I know almost nothing about, and I have no idea if you know anything about it. Adaptive testing. What do you think of their argument that adaptive testing is a much more efficient, faster way and a better way to assess someone's skills for this type of material?
Again, I don't know. Okay. My only experience as a university faculty and educator has been with making up my own tests for a much, much tinier number of kids. Students, many of them are adult, than is done for standardized tests.
Right.
So, in my career, many of the tests, most of the tests I gave, were in a form where the student writes a lot of the answer out, and the answer is not short. And so I would see how they do their work. And then when I gave, multiple choice questions, I would look at the distribution of answers for each question to see how students reacted to it. It's to see which questions are answered correctly. For each question, I see how many students answered it correctly, and that would give me a sense of how difficult that type of question was. And so the tests were adaptive from one semester to the next for the same course.
Right.
Yeah.
But now, what about oral exams? Aren't oral exams adaptive to a certain extent because you talk to the person and then you get a sense and then right? Oral exams are pretty adaptive.
That's a very different thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's too bad.
And oral exams are typically, I'm thinking in terms of the advanced degree qualifying exams that are oral.
But let's not talk about those.
Well, then I have no idea. I've never had an exam or had any experience with an exam where it was an oral in which a grade was assigned.
Right. Yeah, because the labor and the time involved in giving oral exams in high school would be outrageous. Maybe even in college too.
Yeah.
So, we just have to rely on common sense. So we really have nothing to say. Just use your own common sense. Maybe, but in some ways, if you're in the United States past 2024, you're not going to have a choice. Although, wait a second, the ACT, we don't know anything about the ACT. Knowing the ACT and the competition, either friendly or unfriendly that they have, we have no idea. Maybe they're going to follow suit as well. We don't know. We just don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know a lot of stuff about this. So, okay. Fine. So then we're just gonna do the best we can and go over these 16 questions, and we'll probably move to Khan, um, and start going over their SAT math questions. Okay, and we'll try to figure out how we can also help people prepare for the digital SAT. But for now, we're just gonna plow through these 16 questions and probably move into Khan Academy questions. Okay, anything else?
I suppose after a year or so there'll be reports all over, either reports of people to each other in social media and commercial media, and people talking to each other about what the experience is like.
Right. But if it only has 2 levels, then that's not that adaptive, is it? If what we're reading is correct, which we really have to understand it more, it certainly looked like everyone takes the first level, and then you just move to stage 2. And do you think stage 2 is the same? Like there is going to be the easier stage 2 and the harder stage 2. So
they're going to know how fine a distinction in the sets of questions will there be.
But after stage 2, it doesn't sound like it moves to stage 3.
Each of the 4 sections. It said each of the 4 sections will have 2 stages.
Well, there were 4 sections.
Yeah, they said that it will retain the 4 sections that the traditional SAT had.
No, it's only 1 math. No, I think it's only 1 math and 1 English.
Well,
yeah, I was reading it last night. I think it's only 1 math and 1 English. Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's only 1 math and 1 English. Look, we're not going to go through the here it is, right? I mean, look at what's in this. Look at what's in this PDF. Type, okay.
Overview.
Yeah, overview, right? Yeah.
So test length is on page 41. Time for module.
Where do you see 41?
Yeah, page 41. Yeah.
Test length. Time per module.
The table of contents tells you that stuff.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you could read all of this if you wish. You get it from that website I first mentioned. So this stuff. Wow, look at this reading and writing section. So on the math side, this is what they give you. They give you all this stuff, word count by question, and then they tell you text complexity. Then they tell you sample questions, right? Oh, and then they do all this research on the suite.
Yeah.
Then they give all this stuff. Wow, all this stuff. Wow. Again, this is like 192 pages. What, 180 pages. This is why your fee is so high when you take the test. Because they do a massive amount of research on this stuff. Okay, so I guess we're done. Yeah. So we strongly encourage you to do your own research on this. But it is going to change. Talk to your guidance counselors. They may know, they may not know, but do your own research. Sort of interesting what they're doing here, and you don't really have a choice. You're going to have to do it if you're taking the test at that point. I guess some people could question, well, maybe I should run it and take it by the fall of 2023 in the United States to run in before this. So you can decide. Talk to your guidance counselor. Think about it. Use common sense. Always use common sense. Try to use common sense. So anyway, okay, I guess we're done, right?
Yeah, all done.
Have a great day. Bye.